Welcome again to the Old Principal. 我就是老校长, and we're glad that you've come to join us in another English instructional program. Actually, what we do here is we tell stories. And this is a real story. In fact, today's story, when I first saw it, I said, I don't believe it. But then I went on the internet, and there's all sorts of pictures and all sorts of stories about this incident, 这个事件. So I want to share it with you. The title of this lesson today is, Are We Missing Something? Do you see this handsome young man? 很英俊啊? He is a very famous person. I went on the internet. He is 43 years old. So he's not very old. He's very famous. And we're going to tell a story about him. So, with all of that keeping in mind, let us now listen to the story as my wife reads it. Then we'll be right back.
Number 34. Are we missing something? A man sat at a metro train station in Washington, D.C., and started to play the violin. It was a cold January morning. He played 6 Bach pieces for about 45 minutes. During that time, since it was rush hour, thousands of people went through the station, most of them on their way to work. 3 minutes went by, and a middle-aged man noticed that there was a musician playing. He slowed briefly and then hurried up to meet his schedule. A minute later, the violinist received his first dollar tip. A woman threw the money in the box and without stopping continued to walk. Someone leaned against the wall to listen to him, but the man looked at his watch and started to walk again. Clearly, he was late for work. The one who paid the most attention was a 3-year-old boy. The kid stopped to look at the violinist. Finally, the mother pushed hard, but the child continued to walk, turning his head all the time. Several other children also noticed the man, but their parents, without exception, forced them to move on. In the 45 minutes the musician played, only 6 people stopped and stayed for a while. About 20 gave him money, but continued to walk their normal pace. He collected $32. When he finished playing and silence took over, no one noticed it. No one applauded, nor was there any recognition. No one knew this, but the violinist was Joshua Bell, one of the top musicians in the world. He played one of the most intricate pieces ever written, with a violin worth $3.5 million. This is a real story. Joshua Bell was playing incognito. It was a social experiment organized by the Washington Post. The question was, in a commonplace environment, at an inconvenient hour, do we perceive beauty? Do we recognize the talent in an unexpected context? One of the possible conclusions from this experiment could be, if we don't have a moment to stop and listen to one of the best musicians in the world playing the best music ever written, how many other things are we missing?
Welcome back. Are you ready to go? A man sat in the metro station. Okay? Metro meaning metropolitan. Metropolitan meaning city, a large city. Train station, 火车站. in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. 美国的首都 okay? And he started to play the violin. 他就开始拉这个小提琴. So this is a man playing in the station. Okay? It was a cold January morning. Now, in Washington, D.C. is 东北, okay? And so if it's in January, that's right in the middle of winter. So obviously it was very cold. Going on. He played 6 Bach pieces for about 45 minutes. 他拉这个小提琴, okay? And he played 6 Bach, Bach, a famous 作曲家, okay? 曲子, in this case, he played 6 for about 45 minutes. So here he is playing this in the train station, 在火车站, 城市的这个火车站. Going on. During that time, since it was rush hour, thousands of people went through the station, most of them on their way to work. 那时候, since it was rush hour, have you ever been caught in the rush hour? Okay. Rush hour is 上班的这个交通高峰期. It's just rush hour, and there's so many people running back and forth, all in this train station. Thousands of people, thousands. How many thousands? I don't know. Went through the station. 是经过这个火车站. 经过这个火车站. Most of them are on their way to work. 大部分是要上班去. Going on. 3 minutes went by. 过了3分钟. And a middle-aged man, middle-aged, 中年男人, noticed that there was a musician playing. 他注意有 musician 音乐家这个拉 in this case playing. Of course, playing could mean if it's 钢琴是弹钢琴, but if it's a violin 小提琴, he is 拉小提琴. So he noticed that there was a musician playing. Going on. He slowed briefly and then hurried up to meet his schedule. Okay? He slowed briefly. Now, you could mistranslate this if you're not careful. Slowed. 他就暂时慢下来. 暂时慢下来. Okay? And then hurried up to meet his schedule. 然后就快起来 to 赶时间了. 赶时 to meet his schedule. 赶时间了. So, this is a middle-aged man. Noticed. Going on. A minute later, the violinist, 这个小提琴拉那个小提琴的那个人 received his first dollar tip. Okay, what is a tip? 小费. So why do people play violins or things like this in 公共场所, in public places. Wow, they are begging for money. They are trying to get some money. So this is the violinist received his first dollar, 收到头一块钱. Okay, 头一块钱. Okay, a woman threw the money in the box. So he had a box there. The woman threw the money in the box, 丢在这个箱子里, and without stopping, continued to walk. She didn't stop. She threw the money into the box, not stopping, 继续走路. Everybody is in a hurry. They have places to go, things to do. Going on. Someone leaned against the wall to listen to him. So obviously, somebody is watching. Somebody is observing. 有些人是观察而做记录. See, so somebody is writing this down. Who stops, and you will see more about this in just a minute. Someone leaned against, 就靠这个墙壁 to listen to him. Okay, so he leans against the wall and he's listening. But the man looked at his watch and he said, oh, and he started to walk again. He started to walk again, to continue walking. Clearly, he was late for work. 很明显，他已经上班迟到了. Clearly, 很明显, he was late for work. He was 上班已经迟到了. So you could see, you could tell, it was easy to notice that the man was late. The one who paid the most attention, 最会注意, was a 3-year-old boy. 有一个3岁的小孩子. 3岁的小孩子最会注意 the violinist who was playing his violin. The kid, the child, although even though kid means child, it's probably best to use the word child. Kid is 一种术语, it's 我们常用的话, but it's not high-class English. The child stopped, but that's okay. Kid is, in some places, is good to use. The kid stopped to look at the violinist. 拉小提琴的那个人. So the kid stopped to look and to listen and to watch him play the violin. Going on. Finally, the mother pushed hard, but the child continued to walk, turning his head all the time. So what's happening? The mother's pushing him. So 推他, so he has to continue. 不得不前进走. Okay? But he's always turning his head and looking back at the violinist. Finally, the mother pushed hard, 用力地推他, and the child, He started walking, continued to walk, but he was turning his head, 常常转头往后看. Going on. Several other children also noticed the man, but their parents, without exception, forced them to move on. Several other children also noticed the man, but their parents, 他们的父母亲 okay, 毫无例外 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 That means there was a 没有例外 they all did it. Without exception, they forced them 强迫他们 They forced them to move on 继续往前走 to keep moving 继续动 of course, moving forward. Going on. In the 45 minutes that the musician played, only 6 people stopped and stayed for a while. How long did he play? 45 minutes. How many people actually stopped and listened, stayed there for a while to listen? 真正的是停下来一会儿听了一会儿 okay, for a while. So this is a real story. This really happened. In going on, about 20 people gave him money, but continued to do what? Walk their normal pace. People gave money. They threw money down in there. They threw the money inside, but they didn't slow down. They continued their normal pace. 按照他们一般的速度继续走. Okay, pace, you could say speed, their normal speed, 速度, or pace, same thing. Pace is the rate of speed, okay? Okay, when he finished, about 20, let's go back here to the last one. About 20 gave him money and continued. 20 people gave him money and continued. So 20 people gave him money. He collected $32. Okay, not bad. He collected $32. You starved to death, but still not too bad. Going on. When he finished playing, silence took over. Nobody noticed. Okay, when he finished playing, 45 minutes afterwards, it says silence took over. What does it mean? Well, it means that there was some noise, some sound. Of course, he was playing his violin, but after he finished, silence took over. It means 开始很安静. People are walking, they're not talking, they're just walking quickly to meet their appointments and going here and there. 走来走去, they're not talking. And so, silence, 安静, 就来到那个地方啊. Nobody noticed the silence. 没有人注意，他就停下来. Nobody noticed that suddenly the beautiful music had stopped going on. No one applauded. 没有人鼓掌, okay? Nor was there any 没有人认出来他到底是谁. Remember, he was one of the most famous musicians in the world. Nobody recognized him. Nobody applauded the guzhang going on. No one knew this, but the violin was Joshua Bell, one of the top musicians in the world, 全世界最优秀的其中之一位音乐家。This was the go on the internet. Go on the internet and look. You can see pictures of him. You can read his story there about who he is. He's a young man. He's only 43 years old. Going on. He played, what is it? Some of the most intricate pieces ever written. 他所拉的曲子呢，是这个历史以来 ever written，历史以来最复杂的曲子啊！哇 ！He was playing this, and catch this, his violin was just an ordinary violin? No way. It was worth $3.5 million. The violin that he played was 值得 what? $3.5 million. 350万块钱的一个小提琴. Oh my. Here is a famous person and an expensive violin going on. This is a real story. Joshua Bell was playing incognito. Joshua Bell was playing incognito. You know what that means? Secretly. 匿名的 incognito. Nobody knew who he was. Of course, if they'd seen his picture or been to his concert, somebody could have recognized him. It was a social experiment. 是一种测验、社交、社会的一个试验 ，organized 由的华盛顿邮报所组织的。Okay, they organized this social experiment. Okay, going on. The question is, and this is the question that they were dealing with, in a commonplace environment, 普通的环境 commonplace 普通的environment 环境 okay, at an inconvenient hour 一个不方便的一个时间啊 Do we perceive beauty? Okay? 有没有办法这个认出来这个美丽美好 Okay, here was the question they were testing. In a commonplace environment, 普通的环境 at an inconvenient hour, 不方便的一个时刻 Do we perceive? 我们能够认出来这个美丽美好 Going on. Do we recognize talent in an unexpected context? Context 平常是上下文 but here it is 环境 Do we recognize? In other words, 有没有认出来在一个没想到的一个环境能认出来真正的这个才干吗 Okay, 才干 Going on. One of the possible conclusions 有一个可能的一个结论是这样从这个试验 可以做一个，可能很多结论，不过一个是这样 going on. If we do not have a moment, if we do not have a moment, 我们没有时间停下来听一听 one of the best musicians in the world playing the best music ever, okay? 全世界最优秀的、最有名的一个音乐家所拉的 best music in the world， 世界最好的音乐，这个写的最好的音乐。If we don't have time to stop and listen to this beautiful music by a talented, most talented in the world, music ever written, here's the bottom line. Go ahead. How many other things are we missing? 我有多少其他事情，多少其他东西，我们也错过呢？ That's a good question. Obviously, the answer is we miss a lot. We generally see what we're looking for. They weren't looking for him, and so they missed him. Wow, what a story. I had to share that one. Going on. Now we have an email. You could write an email to us. We have an email, Daniel teacher, the old principal at gmail.com. We also have a website. 我们的网站是 www.theoldprinciple.org. It's been great to spend this time with you, and I hope that you'll join us again. Bye-bye.